make a Facebook post. Once Facebook loads, there we are. And then I'll realize that I have the wrong thing in my clipboard.
Oh no.
I have the
Did
Clive
you post
Palmer
it?
shit posting instead. Okay. Whoops. Delete.
Oh my god, you did post it!
Yeah, like I said, I didn't realize until I was doing the Facebook one. Alright. And I will rig up some music. Is the music coming through the microphone?
It was, but now it's
Alrighty. There we are.
not.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another stream on Pichy and Pals, where we do a podcast instead of a very, very laggy lobby, which is just as well as I'm dropping lots of frames. We're here to talk about BAM, which happened last week, and I didn't run this show last Tuesday because I was still driving home at the time. I have with me at the moment Queensland's almighty best BlazBlue player, Hunter Stephen, now the proud runner-up from BAM, as well as the tournament organizer for the anime games at BAM, Javi.
Hello.
There we are, he's there, good. So,
Oh my...
how was
Pichy,
BAM,
I just gotta
everyone?
tell you,
Is the lag really
on the
bad now?
Facebook post... a little bit, yeah. Also, on the Facebook post, the,
Oh my goodness me,
it's
sorry.
still the Clive Palmer.
I don't know how the Clive Palmer still keeps popping up. Alright, apologies there, we just had a lot of shenanigans induced by an accidental copy-pasting of a Clive Palmer link that I had.
But yeah, BAM was good, very fun. This was my first one I've went to. It was big.
Oh, it was so much
Oh,
bigger than the BAMs I've been to in the past.
It was very big, especially like the venue. It's when you when you set it up, because I was there early, and because I stayed with Javi and I was setting it up, or helping set up, and you gotta like walk the tables and the chairs and whatever like all the way across the venue, and you're like, God damn it, it's too big.
Oh yeah. I think it was a good big though, because there was sufficient walking space, which can always be a concern, especially the first time you hire out a facet of the convention center, is working out if you've actually gotten the right amount of hall space to actually have foot traffic that'll work. And so it was good. No one really felt crowded, even in the super packed Tekken area. Javi, how do you think BAM went? Tell us how BAM was.
Well, I haven't had any I try to probe for feedback because feedback helps improve the event. So, but I haven't heard any read any excessively bad feedback. Lack of chairs is the big one, which is miscalculated.
That was a pretty big one.
Yeah,
so that was the key one. There's a higher. We need to set the higher more chairs. We just miscounted. Like the guys who did the chairs, they're just like, okay, this many setups, 2 chairs per setup, and some to the stage done. Didn't have any extras outside of that, so we had just enough, but for like people playing, but not for people not playing. So that's the lessons learnt. But yeah, generally, I'm just having like positive feedback from everybody. There's like some blog posters and some like media coverage. Everyone seems to be really enjoying it. The internationals enjoyed it a lot, especially Zan, who comes every year as well, and he's seen the progress. how BAM has been changing. So he's he's like impressed there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm keen to hear more feedback. Like I haven't heard feedback of any of the people on this forum.
Yeah, it feels like everyone's just kind of been cooling down after the event and just having gone back to the usual heckling over the Discord. Which is in a way a good thing because it means that there's been no standout bad things that occurred, which is still sticking in people's minds. But yeah, mod feedback. As someone who has done events themselves for many years, it's always handy. So then, is there anything that I should mention in my initial notes? No, we've got Jarvie here. That's in my notes. We have
Is Fiery like actually?
Sorry, I just fixed up my audio. Do I need to change my volume or is it good?
Oh, no, you're
pretty
good.
good.
We also have with
All
us, once again, from New South Wales, tournament organizer in the Sydney region, Fire Rider. Yay.
Yo. So yeah, I just ran into audio difficulties. For some reason, microphone just stopped working.
Oh, yeah,
I
well,
did that panic reinstall drive with my garbage internet.
I'm trying to avoid having echoes going through because all of you are currently outputting through my speakers as my headphones are not picking up the audio for whatever reason. Though I can mention the pleasant surprise that we saw on the Friday. Now, basically, before we start talking about the money matches, probably the two things to mention from my experience of walking in on the Friday was we actually had a dedicated anime streaming area provided by New Game Plus TV, who are pretty cool guys, which meant that I felt much less pressure to get a setup going when I was a bit tired. But also, there was a dedicated Gundam vs. Gundam setup the entire weekend.
Oh, that was really amazing. It felt, I liked the whole setup. I like that we were in the middle and that, anime generally gets shoved to the side, but this time we actually had a lot of space for ourselves.
Which is fair enough.
So I think that was actually a really good thing.
Well, I mean, it's good, fair enough, because we were several games, one of which had over 70 entrants. So we were definitely not the little guys at this event. And we did get
There was a little bit. Oh, there was a little bit of a scare, like, because when I was setting up, when we thought that we wouldn't really have enough setups, but luckily I made out like a call on the Discord, and a bunch of people were able to bring in setups. So, like, it was like estimate 8 setups, and then we got it out to like around like 12 or something like that.
It was between 12 and 16.
I think it was more, but yeah.
Which was great.
Yeah.
Things ran quick, which I guess we'll talk about a bit more.
Good on you,
Saturday.
So Gundam was like wasn't a thing until Forte asked for it in advance. So we prepared space for him, and because we have a lot of space there, we could afford the space. He should have asked for more. He asked for 4. Because I think he was being conservative. He's like, oh, if you have space. Like, Forte's a very nice guy, right? So he's like, yeah, if you have space, just squeeze us in. I just need 4. And then when he got there, he's like, oh, like there's so much space. I'll bring an extra 2 more setups. So on like the Saturday, he brought more.
Yep.
As well.
Yeah, and I think we actually had enough consoles brought that we could have had a full 8 setups going if we wanted to. Either way,
for Gundam?
There was a good amount.
We only had 6 actually.
Well, we didn't use my setup, and I feel like there was another one.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Brought. Anyway, that was a.
Like, I could have brought a PS3 as well.
So it was good to see some support for that game. We're getting a new version on the PS4 with an English release later this year, so that could still have quite good potential for growth in Australia. So, let's talk about the money.
Is that before Origin?
Oh, sorry, pardon?
Yes.
Is the new Gundam before Origin?
Yeah, new Gundam's dropping in July. OHN's in September. So, yeah, it's in about a month and a bit.
Yeah, is OHN early September or late September?
If I recall a date, it was September 15 to 17. So, everybody watching, mark that down on your calendar. September 15 to 17.
And that means it's about a week after Senko no Rande 2 comes out.
Date.
Ooh.
Wait, this is news to me.
Yeah, it comes out early September.
Yeah, September 7th.
Oh no! First Eunice, and then Senko and Aronde. Oh, how many standards they're gonna throw at me?
Yeah, the
I
anime
can't
all the
games
games together.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it when we get to the Blaze Blue, but the anime scene can be quite different by the end of the year, I'm feeling, with the releases that are coming up. Alright, let's talk about the money matches. We did not get these recorded because we had them set up in the anime stage area, which was provided by New Game Plus TV, and was an excellent place for stealing chairs most of the weekend. But the streaming wasn't quite working.
We had to take chairs from the anime.
We had the displays going.
We had to take chairs from the anime setups to put in the crowd for that.
Oh yeah, because
so it's like we took the chairs from there, but we also had to bring them back for when we actually wanted to sit down.
It was this very fun two-way relationship.
Yeah, so the New Game Plus stream was supposed to be working that Friday, but they tested it and they couldn't get it working. Like we scheduled the money matches earlier, but we couldn't get it started until later because I just gave up. I'm like, if we wait any longer, it'd be like too late.
Yeah.
So just do it.
We saw them at 7.
Unfortunately, couldn't get a stream.
It was around then.
Yeah, because initially the plan was that we were going to start them at 5, but nobody really got there until about 6 when we all finally got into the venue.
Oh yeah, the line was long enough that we couldn't get in by 5 anyway. Which shows just how big the event was.
I reminded Ando and Steve.
So the first match was Audacity versus CM in the Johnny Mirror match. The score was 5-2 Audacity's way, which is pretty close to what I was predicting.
No, 5-0.
5-0.
Okay, I've made
it
a typo.
5-0 Audacity's way, actually.
Yeah, no, I see where the typo is. It's because I've accidentally copy-pasted from the Fairy Nerk score. No.
We just kept doing it. Sam didn't block a single one.
I mean, I think it's okay. It like doesn't hurt, and it's not very easy to react to. Yeah.
I was. Yeah, I mean, I was.
Hang on, how many bursts did he land in that match? I counted 1.
It was like 1. CM bursted awfully.
I think like the pop off was that he finally landed 1 burst throughout the whole set.
But I mean, it was like, he was practicing with Ando for a while before, but both of us could tell that he was definitely not playing as good as he usually does. But
I've never seen CM play. I have no basis. I just saw him get blown up, and I'm like, oh man, my boy Audacity, he's really gonna earn his movie today.
And then and then he didn't come the next couple of days because he was really sick. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
I mean, haven't nobody talked about the speech that he made before the Spain match?
Oh yeah, he did a big promo. He cut the promo.
I think
I was very confused.
The best part about that was when Gary was just like, $100, I wanted on Audacity to make CM shut up. And then some random guy heard CM just screaming his head off, and he comes along going, I want to match that $100. That was the best part.
God.
Holy crap, I just realized something. My mic has been accidentally off the entire time because I bumped a 0 key.
Oh my god, we're gonna have to go through all of it again.
Oh no.
Has anyone said it in the stream?
Yeah, Prods just mentioned it then. So thank you very much, Prods, Eternal Bro. So
Yeah,
Yeah, in
Prod
CM's
is a
words,
hero, saving New South Wales anime and now saving like Australian anime. Oh,
saving the
Prod, you're
stream.
like the legend of Nurk.
He's
Closing you.
moving up in the world.
Oh yeah. So I guess the things I'll mention about that CM match, now that we've actually got audio, was he cut the promo. CM told me that he felt he enjoyed doing it, and in his words, he drew money because Gary and that other guy wound up putting money because he was yelling. So that was a bit of fun. Though I think the thing I'd like
So
to
it was a
mention
success.
is that I feel like the anime community is not really at the point where it's particularly interested in doing wacky promos before matches for the sake of it. We make a bit of noise, particularly the Queensland guys, when a Queensland guy might win a match, but it feels like we're more interested in watching good matches at this point. And I think that's a good spot to be in. It's probably why we're growing. And if we want to have more wacky promo-heavy matches, then we need to have... I feel like we need a matchup where there's some genuine heat between the two people playing. Either there is a moment where two state people are really, really talking smack about their boys, or if there's just a couple of people who are a bit mad at each other and need to settle it in a match, which sometimes happens. In the meantime, I don't think it's like particularly the future for growth, but something you take when you can get it.
No, that was beef there. Audacity, man. Oh, he hates CM. I called this out in the last pre-BAM stream. CM, man, you're the biggest dweeb. Talking on the Johnny Discord, thinking you got all this tech. He showed you up real good. So I want to see what happens when they meet again. Hopefully CM can come down to OHN and beat Audacity on his home ground. Do it with a reverse 5-0.
That would be cool, but given those bursts, I don't think it'll
That
work.
might start something.
So I think that's about it for the CM match. Now that my microphone's working again, I will again mention 5 Tiger Need level 1 missed finders in a row is unblockable mix-ups. Next match on the card that we had was Ferry defeating Nurk, and this was the 5-2. I accidentally misreported the 5-0 from the previous match. So my notes here have written, lol, Nurk hasn't played in a month before the match. So there is a handy option select for the loss, but talking to Nurk shortly after it, he said, nah, Ferry's the better soul at this point. And I agree.
I didn't actually catch that one. I got the end of it.
I think the funniest thing about this match was how quiet everybody was. It was such a high level, or at least a solid match, that no one was really popping off at anything high. We were all just mostly engrossed in how the game was going. Really turn around from the huge Audacity CM match where everyone popped off whenever something happened.
Oh yeah, this was a very quiet and tense match. Couple of things to mention is there were a lot of situations from both players where they were trying to bait out Soul anti-airs by double jumping, and the Soul who was on the ground did the correct response, which is to just scoop them. Lots and lots of anti-air air throws in this match. Other things that I've gotten written down here, there were a lot of... Both players did a lot of good reactions to gun flames coming out by doing instant air dash jump P to punish it, which is good, because it means you need to force your opponent to actually start spending the meter instead of just throwing out gun flames willy-nilly. But one of the big things that I feel made Ferry the better player in the matchup is Nurk's defense in general looked and felt a lot like how people are on the defensive when they don't know how to defend against Soul. There's certain sorts of rhythms and timings where people try to jump out or try to hit a button where there's sort of a gap, but there isn't really at all, and they eat another counter hit gunflame or a bringer or an instant air dash H. And Nurk was doing a lot of those bad jumps, and that's because Nurk is the only Soul in SA, and he plays the Soul mirror far less than you would expect Souls to do so at this point in the game.
I think it's ironic that Nurk actually released the Soul defense guide, but you still, like, even if you know the gaps, you still need the experience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you need to train your muscle memory.
That's definitely true.
And yeah, Ferry is definitely better at playing the Soul mirror, and is better at like Soul-specific things like anti-air 5H instant air dash jump PSH, or jump PSD Fafnir. Nurk doesn't quite have a lot of that stuff, and you could see in the match there were a number of times that he attempted it and dropped it. But Nurk, on the other hand, does, in the neutral, I feel, have better reads than Ferry does. Because Nurk does somewhat play by his gut. Especially with Sol, who's a character who can get away with it.
That PSD thing, that's not Soul specific. It's just a Soul thing.
But I guess,
Oh, really?
It's just it's just a kind of
It works in all characters.
I meant to say
Yeah,
Ferry's
it's just like a
execution
harder
is better than
combo.
Nurk's.
Ferry definitely has better conversions and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, he did so many good conversions, just like random jump Ps, gets the hit and manages to convert it really nicely in these really tight links into knockdowns.
Yeah.
Converts like any air-to-air into like a dust loop into a knockdown. It's like, damn, it's pretty crazy.
Those are the sorts of situations
Yeah.
where, like Ferry's been talking about, he's having trouble in Rev 2, where a lot of the time you don't really notice the nerf on Sol 5k being a 5-frame move instead of 3-frame, but it's things like those jump K at the certain positions which link into 5k, and those sorts of things no longer work. And those are the things that are catching him off guard more than general neutral play with Sol.
Yeah.
All in
Right,
all,
so my thoughts on this money match. So this money match, like I don't. It's one I set up. Like Nurk and Ferry, they're really good people.
Yeah.
And they're really nice, and they get along really well with everybody. So there's no heat between them, unlike the other money matches. There's but it's one I set up because like Ferry does really well in Melbourne. He I feel is the best Melbourne Guilty Gear player. Like result wise at our monthlies and stuff, because he only rocks up whenever there's an event or stuff. He doesn't like really do anything outside of that.
Yeah.
So I put it together to just demonstrate, like to give Ferry a chance to just show off like what he can do really, because I feel he's like really underrated in the community until people saw him do better at BAM. But even at BAM like singles tournament itself, he did pretty poorly. He lost to Giggles twice. He should have asked for a double jeopardy, but whatever. I mean, they were close to the match. They were really hyped, so they got like to final rounds. So that was good. I think it's alright.
Yeah, Ferry is, I agree that Ferry's pretty much the most solid. Consistently solid and all-round strongest Melbourne player. He's got the knowledge, he's got the execution, and he's got the character strength that allow him to do well when he pops up. So then I have written here the third match, which I have written as the true main event of the evening, was Adam defeating Audacity 5-3 in a Kai versus Johnny match.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty good.
I don't like this match. Like, I feel like Audacity, right after coming from playing CM, he just played terribly. He dropped so many things. He landed so many good hits, but he just drops the combo. Like,
Yeah.
I really don't think this was a really good, clean match with both players at their top level. Like, he just choked, pretty much. That's pretty much all I can say about this. He choked terribly.
This was a slobber knocker, to continue with the wrestling parlance. This was just a messy match where two people are trying to hit each other and somewhat fumbling what they're doing, but every now and then you'd just see the worst burst possible, and sometimes it was the burster doing really bad, and sometimes it was the person on the other end getting everything wrong but remembering to burst bait correctly, and then dropping the punish immediately after.
And then sometimes Adam does wake up 6k and Audacity gets counter hit by it and then it converts into a full combo and it's hilarious.
Oh man, those bits were so
I thought
good.
Adam played really well. Adam played really strong that match, but I'm just upset that Audacity just didn't bring his A game for whatever reason. He just choked really badly.
I mean,
He was
that
also,
can sometimes
like,
happen when you got multiple
Adam
matches. You go first, Steven.
Oh, I was saying Adam was also popping the hell off, doing run up, blitz shield full charge right in Audacity's face, and hitting it. And then, C yells in the crowd, do a greed 7. It's like 5 greed 7s and none of them get blocked. It was amazing. and all the Queensland guys in the background were yelling as hard as they could because Baxter had to leave to commentate Street Fighter, so we had to fill in for him.
How was Audacity feeling after that match, Fiery?
He was feeling absolutely terrible. We gave him so much shit for just playing bad. When he plays against one of our guys, Ichigen, he plays really well. Like, Ichigen's definitely not on Adam's level, not even close, but he doesn't drop the combos. He doesn't mess up as badly as he did in that one match, in that money match. So I really think it's just the nerves that got to him. But, like, Audacity is my boy. I gotta support him, man. I reckon he'll next time they meet, he's gonna run it back good. Like, this is his first out of state. I think this is Adam's first out of state as well.
Yes.
So yeah, in just this one moment, he had the nerves, tournament nerves, whatever you want to call it, or like that huge pressure nerves.
Sometimes when you have,
but I reckon more experience, he won't choke as hard next time. Oh god, please.
Absolutely.
Running out of money.
I feel a lot of the choking somewhat came from the fact that he'd won his match earlier. So you get that extra amount of pressure of, okay, I've proven that I can do this. So then you start thinking, okay, I need to make sure I make all the right decisions and do things correctly. And in doing so, you find your brain gets distracted thinking about what you should do, instead of just calming down and doing the things that you naturally do correctly anyway.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you because I actually do that a lot when people keep saying I'm some really good BlazBlue player, and that sometimes gets to me, and I just lose horribly under pressure sometimes.
Yeah,
but I'll get to that later.
One of the worst things you can start thinking in a match is, I should not be losing to this guy. When you start thinking about that, what it means is you're not actually just thinking about the match, and you're not just playing, and because essentially in any sort of improvisational work, whether it's a sport, whether it's a computer game, whether it's things like theater, basically you do all the thinking before you're actually out there. When you're out there, it's all the thinking. You need to make sure you've coded that into your body so your muscles just do it. And when you start overthinking things, it's a lot like driving as well, where the car crashes occur not when people are being risky, but when people start hesitating. As soon as you let that doubt start gripping your mind, you have those pauses, and that's when stuff just runs over you.
I like that a lot, actually. I don't really think that much. Because I've always wondered, like, between games in a tournament or whatever, I don't have anything to think about. Like, I'm always blank. Got nothing.
Yeah, you do not care at all, Jarvie. The true stoic.
Before and after, I'm like, whatever, I'll just go in. And I think that actually... So, I think I'm a terrible player. Because I go to tournaments and I do okay, and I always exceed my expectations. I'm like, what? Like, I didn't do anything. But they just choked all the time. So I'm like, okay, I guess not caring helps.
Yeah, like, I did not care at all. I just wanted to commentate stuff this time, and I got 13th. Last time I actually entered a tournament was SXE 2015, and I was thinking about, I need to prove that I'm competent after these 5 million years of playing Double X, and I got killed. So, there is a personal anecdote about it. Other thing I've mentioned here before we move on to the Saturday, as a final comment that I wrote down at the time after the matches happened was, I felt that pretty much every player involved, with the possible exception of Audacity, because Johnny has somewhat autopiloted burst baits, it felt like most of the players were going way too hard on hard read burst baits. So it's things like, okay, I'm going to hit them with a heavy move, and then I'm going to jump. And if this works, then I've read their burst. If it doesn't work, I have completely thrown away my combo and my momentum. Instead of just saying, okay. And I feel that people at that point were committing way too hard on that sort of burst bait, rather than just accepting that sometimes burst will happen, and indeed, burst will usually happen, and it's okay to get hit by the burst, you just got to regain the momentum afterwards. And I feel that when people are going really, really heavy on the hard reads, sometimes it's because it's a money match and you want to be hype, and sometimes it can give off that you're not actually confident that you can win the neutral game and get that momentum a second time. So that's something that some of our players, I think, need to start thinking about a bit more.
Yeah, you forgot the last money
played
match.
With ISO, that back in the BlazBlue days, ISO was actually really insistent on just taking the chance you get, especially because the character he plays.
Yeah.
But
Well,
he was
he
saying
has
like
to. He's a
everyone's
Jade
not always gonna do good bursts. Why would you need to go through the mind game of when he's gonna burst when you just go for the guaranteed damage? If you lose you can lose the mind game in so many different ways. But if you try and go for the hard read, you've already lost the mind game.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I used to really enjoy thinking about the burst mind game. I mean, I was pretty good at it. I took a lot of bursts from a lot of people, but nowadays I don't really think about it too much. I don't know. It's just
I'm an old man, so the only bursts I go for are ones where I'm just baiting with jump punch.
But there are times where it's just like, oh, he's probably gonna burst now, and you just do it. Like it's real instinctual. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
That might
comes
just be
from
me.
observing the habits of players throughout the match. So that's fine. I felt that there was just in general lots of people not even going for like Roman cancel, then watch if they fly up, but just no, I'm just gonna jump cancel here and green block and hope that they bursted there. Really, really hope. So something to keep in mind. Shall we move on to the actual tournament itself on Saturday?
There was one more money match.
All right,
Me
yes.
and Giggles, Blaze Blue.
So there was Giggles
Was
versus
there money on
Steven.
that?
There was money on that. Well, there wasn't going to be money on that, but then I was like, fine, I'll put on $50. And then Gary matched my $50 for Giggles.
Mhm.
So Giggles didn't actually put up the money for it. It was actually Gary's money.
He doesn't need
But
to.
that's
He's
fine.
esports now.
And then, yeah.
How
Ooh.
confident did you feel going into that though? Because
Not at all. I definitely had no chance of winning.
Yes.
but you put 50 like on Facebook,
Yeah. Well, I
before
mean,
them, so
I did that. I mostly wanted it just to have a high stakes set, just so I can look at it and learn from it, rather than thinking I could win. It's more like I just wanted the experience, really.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like the
Like,
experience.
I know that there are people who. Sorry, go.
Oh yeah, you go, Pichy. You go.
The experience of playing with something on the line, like beyond tournament results, but having something of yours, basically giving up a bit of yourself, if you lose, is a very useful experience to have. There was a period where I would money match Colin for whatever change we both had in our pockets, and that helped me keep a lot more calm in matches, just doing that a few weeks.
Yeah. But I mean, oh yeah, and then Gina came up to me and he was like, "Hey, can you beat this guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "Fine, I'll put $5 on you." So Gina bet $5 on me,
And he chose.
and he was watching
Colin.
behind my shoulder. He
Yeah.
sure did.
Do you want to know the feedback that he was giving on your matches throughout the weekend, Stephen? If you didn't hear it from him directly?
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
Alrighty, let's talk about nuclear deterrence. So, one of the biggest problems that your 9 has is you do block strings into rock, which is good because rock is a very fast overhead that's plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that you always do the block string into rock. And so what your game is really lacking, I mean, there's 2 chief things you're lacking. I'll talk about the second one in a bit. But the first one is in your pressure. You always go for the rock string, which means that you have completely eliminated the threat of the rock. Because the beauty of the rock as a move is if you put it into storage, which is very quick and easy to get back out of storage, you've then got the threat of, okay, this rock can come, but when I start going low, or start doing nothing, or start doing dash throw even, the threat of the rock is that much greater because now you're thinking about those other things instead of thinking about the rock. When you always go into the rock, then people just think, okay, I know how to deal with this. And as we saw throughout the many games you had to play against Alex on that weekend, Alex almost always correctly chicken blocked it, and then the rock was doing nothing, and you have no momentum at all. If you just went low a few times even, then it keeps it in their head that there is some other stuff going on beyond the rock, and then when the rock comes back out, they go, oh shit.
You know what? You're right, but
Here it
Okay,
comes.
here's the thing, right? It's like, no. I'm not. You're right. And my problem is, I'm not making it obvious about what, because I do know about that. I do know I need to go low. Especially with like, since Alex is like the most 9 experience out of anyone.
Yes.
He actually knows how to fight 9. So he actually knows to look at the stocks.
Yeah. And those chicken blocks he did were
So
amazing.
that's why it's always, I do a string and I'm like, oh, look at that big rock in the corner. And then I'm like, ha, I'll get you with this delay sweep. And then he jumps and I go, crap. Or he blocks it. And I'm like, damn it. When it's not like, look at this rock. Oh, where'd it go? Get you low or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm thinking of the right thing, but I'm not doing it correctly.
Yes. You've got that little bit of hesitation because you're still thinking the thought process every time you get in that situation. Instead of having worked out beforehand, okay, here's what I do off the low in training mode, do that a bunch. So then, if anything, when you're in the match, you're then remembering, alright, I now can do the rock. Instead of, this is the only thing I do. Other thing to mention, there's 2 other things to mention about the many games you had with Giggles, because they're basically all the same match, is I really liked that on, I think it was the very first game on that money match, you did the unblockable setup on Giggles, and he avoided it, and he didn't pull it out again, because you go, okay, he knows how to deal with this, and I'm not gonna be able to gimmick him. I liked that from you.
Wait. No, okay, my unblockable setup doesn't work if you delay tech.
Yeah, and he did it the first time, so he went,
So I think
okay,
that
I'm
was
not
it.
gonna do
Like yeah.
Can you hear my pen right now? I'm taking notes.
Nope, I cannot hear your pen.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Just letting you guys know.
Go for it, yeah.
I
So
need to
when 9 puts you in the corner and she does karaoke, delay tech.
Yep.
I mean, she can still do other stuff, but it makes what she can do much weaker.
Yes.
Because if you just normal tech, I can go, okay, I can do the string,
Oh, you can do whatever
which
you want.
is spaced perfectly so that you can't DP it. Well, no, because it's like, I'm spaced perfectly so you can't DP it unless you're S or Naruto, because they have really large DPs. And I can do a string into Meteor, and then the Fairy keeps you in block, and then I do another string into the Seed, and then I do an unblockable on you.
Yeah.
But if you just delay tag it, then it's like, well, now I can't do that. I have to just, go in and do normals.
Yeah, and bringing up the Fairy brings me to the final comment on your matches is, Fairy Oki was pretty much the only thing you really had with 9. Even if you just make a couple of wacky gimmick alternate Oki setups, that would give you nice bit of variety to keep people a bit more confused about what to do against you. Because when you had the Fairy, you had a bunch of command strings, it was fine. When any other sort of situation, you had nothing. Even if you'd just gone for like a bunch of AAA and then hit them with the level 3 freeze, that's still a completely different Oki situation to what they've encountered the rest of the match. And so you're going to get a bit more of that hesitation, which, as we mentioned before, hesitation is what causes the car crashes.
Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to make new ones. It's a little hard, but yeah, I just got to keep working at it.
Yep. So there's some cool talking points for 9. Other things to mention from all these matches.
I mean, I'll talk more about the matches later.
Yep.
Probably during the part where we discuss the actual tournament.
Yeah.
Because all the matches are very similar.
Oh, yeah. The other thing I'll mention from this set is, from my count, there were 2 Dragon Punches from Jin the entire time, and I'm pretty sure both of them were actually in combos. So Alex's patience was incredibly on point in this money match.
Yeah.
And that cleans up the... Oh, I guess I can tell my own wacky story from the Friday night before Saturday. So, Alex, Juan, and I hired out via Airbnb an apartment, which had actual cooking facilities, which was great because I was short on money and just wanted to cook food. Also because I like cooking food and hanging with people that way, which I got to do. And on the Friday night, my plan was to make a pasta sauce because that's easy and low maintenance. So a bunch of people,
no.
a bunch of the New South Welsh people, like Fiery, I think, popped up, Runas popped up and things. I was chopping up vegetables and I had all my tins of tomatoes out there, and Runas went, "Ooh, beans!" And I thought, "What? Where are the beans?" And so then when I started to cook, I realized that since I had not worn my glasses and I'm long-sighted while I was buying the cans, I usually buy a brand of Roma tomatoes, which are a blue tin with the red tomatoes on them. But instead, I'd bought blue-colored tins of red kidney beans. So, dinner, instead of being a pasta sauce, was more like chili con carne, except with no carne and with spaghetti. So, I tweeted out, and I might as well bring up that tweet while I'm here, the inescapable 50-50 setup of the beans and the tomatoes. Here we are. Let's switch over to...
And it all gone down well for nice side of wet pizza.
Give me a sec. I'll be right back.
There we are. That said, it tasted pretty good anyway.
I think my highlight of that night was actually playing Aquaparza for the first time ever.
Oh man.
I've literally never played Aquaparza.
Aquaparza is so much fun. That is a great game.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. What character did I play? The girl with the dumb hop? I can't remember what her name was.
Were you playing Konami? Dive Kick Girl?
I think it's No,
Oh, I know, yeah, you were playing...
Or...
You were playing Chizuru. You were playing top tier.
I kept wanting to call her Chihaya because, you know, she kind of looks like her, but I'm just like, no, it's definitely not a name, but...
Because she's lore-wise, she's basically Arcade.
Dude, I love Aquaparza now. That game was hella fun. I want to play it again.
Yeah, that game is a...
So I'm just hoping for a modern release.
Nah, I think Exam is pretty much done with it at this point. But it was certainly, for the early 2010s, that was a very special moment in time for Japanese fighting games. The game that united everyone. I mean, like, Ogawa was a fairly good player at that game, and he played a Rushdown character. So, Saturday morning. Saturday was the Guilty Gear day, and Sunday was the BlazBlue day. So, I guess I'll talk about my performance in Guilty Gear first. I lost to Goichi, and I lost to Tree. Tree, as we discussed on the previous stream, was entered as Kolinov, as a joke about a time that I mistook him for Kolinov for some reason. I think it was because they both tend to dress fairly well at tournaments. And so I went, oh, it's a guy in a nice suit and jacket, so I guess that's Kolinov.
Yeah, he was wearing this. It was like the first day of SXC. He was wearing his blazer, and he just, you know, he like walked past you, like behind you, and like I guess you just, you know, you were manning the stream, so I guess you just kind of like in your peripheral vision, you just see like, oh, it's a guy in a blazer.
I
hey,
think he
Colin.
was also near Baxter.
Hey, Colin.
He was near Baxter
yes,
as well.
Yeah,
So I guess it's Kolinov.
That'll get you.
KOF boys. It was not. Fortunately, other things to mention. So yeah, I went 4-2. My other loss, which put me in the losers, was against Goichi, and I did the worst bursts of my life in that match. There's something going on in my muscle memory where I burst on the close S with Milia. I presume the connection is I'm thinking, okay, close S is the bad normal and you want to wait to see what he's doing afterwards to burst. But my hands were just going, that's the normal related to bursting. I'll burst on Milia close S. And so of course he just up-backed and killed it every single time. I used way too much Raven this tournament. My Raven was doing no work at all, but my Slayer did a lot of work and killed a lot of people with counter hits. So that was good. I had Tomo my first game, and he died pretty quick when I switched to Slayer. And on certain matchups, like I beat Mantato, whose Leo is pretty good, but he does not know how to deal with Jacko at all, so that made him die pretty darn quick.
No.
That was very sad for him.
Poor guy.
I played him in SXC. Didn't do that bad against me.
Other thing to mention is...
Well, I mean, he doesn't play like much at all, so it's like, yeah.
If it's Leia, you don't need to.
That's true.
The other thing I'll mention, just as we're starting off, I'll ask you all how you all felt about your performances, but the stream was up and running by Saturday morning. It was on twitch.tv/NewGamePlusTV. That's PLUS plus, not the symbol. And the story I can tell about the stream is the commentator area was a very low-down, laid-back couch, which is nice and relaxing to sit on, but I'm a bit fat at the moment, more than usual, and I wore what was a fairly nice shirt, but the bottom buttons on it were getting very loose. And so, due to the angle that this couch was on, it meant that there was a bit of my gut showing any time that they cut back to me, unless I was sitting perfectly, and since there was no real indicator of when the stream crew are actually going to switch to the commentary cam, it meant that I was somewhat feeling on edge of, okay, I have to work out when they're going to switch so I can lean up and prevent my gut popping up on stream and having some horrible, hateful comments popping up inevitably in the stream chat. So, since most of my experience has been in things like theatre and radio, I've done very little TV production. And so there was an interesting moment of just, this is the sort of thing you got to consider, which you don't even think about unless you've actually spent a bunch of time in TV.
There was another interesting commentary thing where Leech and Liam were calling it Mystery Black Guy. I think it was during the Sunday.
Yeah, that was
Yes. I remember that. It was just one guy who was he just wanted to watch the finals, and he just saw that there was that side seat near the commentary. So then he was just like, you know what, I'll just sit down over here and then just watch. But a new Game Plus guy just came over and like, you can't sit here. This is for the people who are doing commentary, and if there's anyone else who needs to sit in this off to the side for them. So yeah, they just ushered him off. That was pretty much it. But it was a bit awkward.
So, what other fun
unfortunately,
stories?
it was no Christie moment.
So what stories do you guys have?
Okay,
after
that.
Okay, so I guess I'll go first.
Yeah.
I forgot what my first match was, but it was Moose King, yeah. And I was like really rusty at that point. And there was a point where like we were both at low health. It was like the first round, and he was in the air, and I'm like, okay. And he did Red Hail, and I was like, okay, I'll just walk forward and go under him. And I did not know the angles that Red Hail shoots out. So the one ball just went straight down and hit me, and I'm like, oh god. And I lost that round. But apart from that, I got to Vuong, and he played Dizzy. I was playing Kai, and one, I don't know what Dizzy does. So he when he was doing his set play and his, doing his air dashes and neutral and stuff, I wasn't really sure of like what ranges I should be, like what kind of things he'll do. So that got me, and as well as that, I didn't realize quick enough that he would just pretty much block like everything. So I was trying a bunch of these frame traps, trying to, kid him pressing a button, but he didn't do a single thing. And I didn't really ever go for the throw because I didn't realize it quick enough. So he beat me 2-1. I went into losers, and then I eventually got back up against Vuong again, where I picked Goem, and pretty much just, did things. So I'm like, he's probably unfamiliar with Goem. Yeah. But then he started 6P'ing the red ball Loki, and it hit me a couple of times.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I was like, oh crap, he knows. So I just started holding down back and waiting for the counter hit, and it happened a bunch of times where I got a free combo. And there was one time, there was like this one moment where like I had a blue ball out, and he jumped, and I air threw him or something like that, and he fell back into the blue ball, and then I did a combo afterwards, and everyone in the crowd cheered and stuff.
Like,
and that
those
was
are the best
really
parts
cool.
of Coom, those sorts of wacky hit confirms.
Yeah.
When they're like, you have a ball behind them.
The ball is really like
when there's a ball behind your DP and then land it in the ball, and then you get like some charged rush kick follow up. Those are the best feeling. And
It's pretty cool. Yeah, so I was able to beat him, and then my next match was against Nurk, where I played Kai again.
Yep.
And I really felt like I could have won, but there was a bunch of stuff, and Ando and Adam were yelling at me and stuff afterwards and during the match, especially about Bandit Bringer. Every time he did it, I would 6P or I just block, and both of those are not the right answer. And yeah, so like Nurk was doing a bunch of stuff which I just wasn't doing the right answer to.
yeah, the thing that happens when
yeah.
you... Look, I've been playing Guilty Gear for 10 years and I still screw up the correct options for dealing with soul pressure.
Yeah.
I guess I'll mention a little thing
Yeah,
about
but,
Dizzy
like-
after you.
Oh no, you go first. You go first.
Alright, so...
Okay, yeah.
What I was going to mention about Dizzy is that the rhetoric is often that Exit Dizzy doesn't have any really scary power. And, her stuff's easy to block because it's not instant overheads. But the thing to get about Dizzy, particularly in mid-level play, is that you think, oh, well, there's nothing scary, so I'm going to instant block. I'm going to green block and things. And it's very easy to either green block too much, and then she gets free tick throws on you, or you try instant blocking things, but you're unfamiliar with actually where you need to instant block high versus instant block low based on Dizzy's position after knocking you down. And so it's not so much that you're getting hit by crazy mix-ups, it's more you're mixing up yourself. You're letting yourself get mixed up as to how you correctly respond to her offense. And so just these stray little 2Ks hit you, these stray little 2Ps, occasionally a fish because you mistimed an insta-block, that sort of thing. And they all add up to the fact that you just keep getting knocked down, you keep getting put in the setup over and over and over again.
Yeah. But overall, it was pretty much what I expected. I didn't think I'd make it into top 8 this time. But yeah,
You made 9th.
at least I got 9th. And, I lost to Nurk. I lost to Nurk, so I don't feel bad at all.
Yeah. Like, pretty much anyone who was in top 16, there was no real shame losing to. Maybe Baxter. What a jerk.
Did he make it to top 16?
Yeah. He got 13th along with me, and Vong and Gary. I guess I should go over the results while we're here. So that was our part of our top 16. The ninth place people were Ferry, Daikoku Go. I do not know that guy's history. He was here for Street Fighter V, a Japanese player. And Tree was the other 9th.
He was... Yeah. Daikoku Go was it was strange, because he was like... I think he's like a... Yeah, Street Fighter player. He was there for SF5 and Street Fighter 4. But he also plays Guilty Gear a little bit, and no one knew how good he was or anything. Yeah. And he played Leo, so he Leo'd a bunch of people. He beat Adam in their first set, and then he went to fight Ando, and Ando just demolished him.
Yes.
And then, watching that, and both of them were just like, this guy isn't very good.
Yep.
And so then, like, when Adam versed him again and loses, Yeah. Well, and then during the Adam's second set with him, you just floored him. He was like, yeah, he had the read. Now that, like, you get past, especially because it's Leo and it's best of 3.
Yep.
Like, it's not much time to get the read on what the opponent does.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but then he also beat up Falco. And I'm going to chalk that up to Falco not really knowing what Leo does, and also, not having the time to really adapt.
Yeah, Falco's been playing some, but not too much. And, yeah, the times that he plays Guilty Gear have not been the times where Alex, Gary, or myself have been mucking around with Leo much. So, he definitely does have a bit of a knowledge gap there. In 7th place, we had Nurk, and we had Adam. So, a soul and a card. How nice. And then as we move up, Jarvie outdid all of them. Again, Jarvie's superior stoic strategies, or maybe it's just that he was named after the best girl from Madoka. Sure, we can have arguments about that later. Along with Poppo.
No, there's no arguments. Is anyone
going to disagree?
No, she's the best.
I like girls with no heads.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're the Mummy fan. We talked about that last time. Yeah, she's a perfectly fine
Oh, yeah.
type. In fourth place, we had Giggles, who lost to Doggerah and Ando. And that's no shame because Ando was the highest placing Australian. Naturally, the top two were exactly as we expected once they'd entered. Goichi, as a very good all-round player, but not a dedicated Guilty Gear player, lost to Doggerah, who's been playing Guilty Gear for a billion years and is a very good top player. It was all Raven from memory.
Those air throws.
Oh yeah, those air throws were so.
It was all Raven, yeah.
Yeah, like the Goichi
Oh
air
my
throw
God.
game was incredibly on point. His knowledge of the sorts of things, because there's good air throws in Guilty Gear, and I reckon this guy is going to be jumping it right this moment. So I'm going to preempt with jump H or get the air throw. Or I reckon this guy's going to air tech here. Or I'm going to drop the combo right here and tech trap in. And he was so on point with him. All the situations where you can possibly air throw someone, Goichi landed them on everyone. It was awesome.
It's not just that, and it's also just, oh, this person's in the air coming towards me. Air throw. It's like, Jesus! No one was able to, get a jump in on Goichi.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, some people did, but the ratio was,
very low.
5%. Everything else was an air throw, and it was crazy.
So, yeah, the grand final was...
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Doggerah put Goichi into losers and winners final, and then Goichi got some games, but from memory, there wasn't a reset. Let me just check. I don't think there was a reset at the bracket.
I think it was 3-2.
Let's take a look.
There was definitely not a reset.
Yeah, there was no reset. And the scores aren't written in here because Javi favors speed over score reporting, which is a fine thing to do.
I'm pretty sure it was 3-2. It was 3-2.
Yeah. Final thing to mention about Guilty Gear at this point, before we have a quick chat about teams, is I think that the biggest thing holding back, the two things holding back Australian Guilty Gear at the moment are, obviously, Australia's internet infrastructure and the size of us. All our top players are very far apart from each other, and the population isn't quite large enough to have the full roster of characters being played at the top level. But the sorts of decisions that all of these guys in this top 8 are making, for the most part, are good enough that I think that if we actually got all our top players to play each other and net play more regularly and be serious about it, and I think just doing that would really, really allow us to compete on an international level a bit more. Because the core skills and a lot of the decision making is really on point. There's just little gaps in everyone's game that would be ironed out if they played each other more, and if we were able to just play a few other countries' top players a bit more regularly. The level of play is so much better than it's ever been for any anime game in Australian history at this point. Australian Melty Blood was never this good, even in its glory days. SSR is probably better than anyone from 2010 was at Melty Blood. So teams.
Oh, teams. So first of all, it was a big hassle to run this because the Rev 2 demo requires an internet connection the whole time.
Yes, it does. And Javi tethered things to his phone and then would walk away from the setups. So you'd be trying to get Rev 2 going, but Javi's going to fix up some problem on the other side of the setups, and then suddenly half the matches just conk out. Oh, it was great.
It's really terrible.
I'm so glad this is the only time I'm going to have to deal with this crap, because it was horrible.
Yeah, so the plan was to have a tethered phone, and what we didn't expect, the unforeseen issue was in that space, tethered phones had a radius of 1 meter, 2 meter tops.
Yeah.
That was the issue.
And it was a big space.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I think it must be because there's so many other conflicting Wi-Fi hotspots around or something. But I don't know.
Otherwise, my comments on the team tournament were it seemed like everyone was a bit tired. I was my pain levels were getting pretty high at that point, and I really didn't care. So I was doing things like just picking Baiken and shrugging in matches. My Jacko play in the first round game I had was awful. So Nurk was also not particularly playing very well. So Team Papua New Guinea, Pichy Nurk Giggles, got to grand finals against the almighty Queensland team, but it was really just Alex was the only one remotely playing on point at all, and he just carried us the entire way through.
I think the teams tournament was like supposed to be more casual and relaxed.
Yeah,
It absolutely was.
it was definitely that. Yeah.
It also didn't help that a bunch of other games are running at the same time. Like, there was some Super Turbo still going on. DOA was on, which I was running to, and KOF was on, and I got it to top 8 in KOF.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got 7th.
Nice.
Let's pull up the KOF bracket. Basically, I got in second round winners, I got 2-0'd by Chen. Chen was the guy who ended up getting second to Goichi. His Clark is really, really good. It's better than Falco's Clark currently is.
Chen, he's a New Wales guy. He's just really, really good.
Yeah.
I think he's been winning all the YSBs. But I feel like he's probably, out of all the COF guys in New South Wales, I think he's the one that plays the most.
Yes.
Dave,
Certainly true.
Alex, they do play a lot, but I think Chen is the one that's grinding the most out of all three of them.
Does
Dave
Chen
and Alex
play any
also
other
play
games?
a lot of other games.
No.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah,
Chen
that's
is more of a
true.
dedicated KOF guy. My matches with Chen were very funny because he nearly OCV'd me with Clark, and I would get down to my Geese, and then I would nearly reverse OCV him with Geese, and I would lose by like Magic Pixel on every game. So,
Oh.
it was a 2-0, but those really could have gone somewhere different. He was not quite on point with dealing with Geese forward B. And particularly when he's a Clark and he's just doing like, hey, look, I can fast C into super now. I can do the hops. I can do the B grab. And Geese just goes, Toa, and activates. And if he's doing the wacky auto guard grab, then I just jump and do EX Shippuden. So, Clark Geese is silly. And then
Get
I
a full comp.
lost to Stream, which was also a New Game Plus. I lost to A1 Major, and there's no shame in that. A1's played for 1 billion years and is a good friend of mine. I learned Third Strike from A1 back in the day.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say really about KOF. Beyond, it's a pretty cool game. It's on PC now. I'll be fiddling with the PC port that I've just acquired in a bit. Hopefully it winds up good. And I think that's about it for Saturday. Does anyone else have anything to say about Saturday's festivities?
I want to talk about the team tournament a little bit.
Yep, go ahead.
Because it was like...
dead for most of it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, for like my team, it was...
Hang on. If I recall correctly, there were 2 team tournaments going on Saturday. We got the Gundam teams.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We can talk about that one after.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I think overall there was 10 teams. Something like that. And,
2, 3, 4.
yeah, my team was Ando Illuminati, featuring
winners.
me, Ando, and Adam.
Yep.
And the funny thing about this is, throughout the whole thing, Ando only played 2 games.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it was usually they'd put me first up, and then like the first one I played was against Tomo's team, and he beat me because he plays Zato, and I'm like, what do I do? And then Adam OCV'd that team. The next one was the team against the other Queensland team, which was Ando's Boring.
Yep.
Which was it was supposed to be Tree, Falco, and Baxter, but Baxter was busy commentating, so they got Leech to do it instead.
Yep.
And Ando and... Because, like, my track record against Falco is Falco beats me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he beats my Kai. And then so Adam and Ando just told me, just play Gum. Like, you'll just beat him. And I'm like, yeah, probably. So I played Gum, and I washed that team. It was pretty funny. So, yeah, I OCV that team. And then we kept going. Eventually, we got to the... match against Javi's team, which was Javi, Kenneth, and Ferry.
Yes.
And Ando wanted to play that one because they put up they put up Kenneth first, and I was like, yeah, I'll beat him up.
Oh man, Faust.
So Ando beat he beat Kenneth and Ferry, but then Jarvie started running it back. He was about to reverse OCV it, but then it was like last round, really close health, and then Jarvie air dashes at me, and I do the Super Bowl just in time, and he runs
Oh,
right
man,
into
yeah, I
it.
remember that was so good.
And then the last one was Adam OCV'd your team.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just good fun. Also, Queensland's the best.
So, yeah, they are. They definitely did
I
the
see.
highest in Guilty Gear at this point. They have taken away SA and Victoria's claims to being the best for the moment. We'll get those wins back.
Oh yeah.
Shall we talk about Gundam for a
Yeah,
bit?
I seeded Queensland first and South Australia second. That was my expectation.
Yeah, well, I mean, they wound up in grand final, so it was the right seed.
Yep.
So there was a Gundam
So,
setup.
Javi,
and there
anything
were-
to say about your team? I don't know. I want to talk about my Guilty Gear Rev 2 team's tournament. I beat DD. I'm gonna keep rubbing this in until he comes to OHN and bodies me. But I beat DD. I popped off and I walked away. It wasn't
Which
a run
character
crash.
did you use this time?
I used Jam. I hit him with that new puff ball to puff ball buff.
Double puff.
I hit him so many times.
Two puff
I landed a
balls.
new the Just Frame Super.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
landed that twice on him. I got the Just Frame. It was great. And that was the highlight of my team. Then my team somehow lost when I walked off to run Gundam.
Yeah, rip
So yeah,
Gundam.
that was a good moment for me.
Nice guy, didn't win.
Yeah, I'm actually glad to hear. I'm glad to hear people enjoy the team's tournament because it's not something that's ran often at our Australian majors.
Yeah, we're usually too tired.
Yeah, I think my
And running
only
too many
issue with
other
the
games.
team tournament is that it just came right after GG. Like, I feel that whole time right after the end of the GG, like right at the end of the finals, was a bit chaotic. That if it came later in the night, it would have been a run a lot more smoothly. But we kind of seemed to just go straight into it right afterwards,
Yeah.
and everyone was all over the place.
If we'd
But
had, like,
right, on to Gundam. Gundam! Oh my god. Alright, you can go ahead.
yeah, let's talk about Gundam, the beautiful game.
Alright, so Gundam. Oh my god, for everyone that tried Gundam, I love all you guys, because this game is fantastic. Like, I'm also a relatively new player to Gundam. I'm terrible. But I only picked it up, like, maybe half a year before everyone else did at this spam. Half a year before this spam. And I love the game. I love the way the game plays. I love how it's just completely different. So just being able to just get this whole convoluted setup going and having so many people keen to try it. I shield so many people in just forcing them into the tournament and they're just reluctantly going, yeah, okay, I'll give it a try. But the second they sat down, oh, they loved it, man. Gundam was fantastic. So many great things. Like especially Tomo playing Gundam, playing for the first time, he actually pulled off some nice things. He had a pretty good understanding. It's great.
Who was he playing?
So yeah,
Like which MS
he was
playing?
playing Crossbow X2, and he did some at a Crossbow X2,
I mean, that's the lowest effort. Of the
and he was
crossbow,
playing. He did some nice things. Yeah, that is true. But he was just like, I'm just gonna walk over behind this building and just Garobi straight through the building and cut my teammate. And he was just like, oh, Tomo, that was a nice save. Great moments from Gundam. And I think out of everybody, they just seem to have a huge amount of fun playing it.
Yeah.
So
the bulk
I
of the
just
crowd
love, I'd
was-
love to see it just be set up more.
The bulk of the crowd that were there were basically Victoria's honky guys, random Chinese exchange students who play the game, and they were just mostly hanging around the setups the whole event and having a good time. I think I got on their good sides because I just spouted a bunch of 30-year-old Gundam memes, and they laughed and went, "This guy knows what's up." I think
You're
it
one
was-
of them now.
There were two tournaments run for Gundam, we should say. The On the Saturday and running over into the Sunday was a regular tournament where you just have 2 people on a team and that's the entrant. The Friday and early Saturday, I think, I can't quite remember the timeline, was random
It was
assigned
only
teams
Friday
tournament,
night.
where you would all enter individually, and every round, who your teammate was would be randomly determined, and that would be the next line of the bracket. And despite it being randomized
And then
like
you
this,
got Giggles like 3 times.
yeah, Giggles and I wound up on the same team 3 times in a row. So we just tried to do our plan, which was basically I played a generic all-rounder in F91, and Alex would try to just go ham with the Ifrit. The next day, he actually got taught some Dynamis and 00 Quantech, and we did so much better as a result. Plus, I just switched to Gold Sumo so I could pretend to be Harry Ord and scream Universe as loud as I could every time I landed it. That was good times.
That was amazing times. Steven, what did you think about Gundam? You had like a ton of fun playing that damn tank.
Oh, well, the thing is, okay, so
Dolph is the best.
if you guys know Yayan, he's like a kind of like a player of Queensland, but he mostly just comes out to hang out at meets.
He comes to talk about Kamen Rider.
Yeah, he does that a lot too. And you know, and he's been trying to get people to play Gundam all the time. I mean, the problem is that there just isn't the setups for it. We can't do the whole
the
local
logistics
thing.
are the hardest obstacle.
But, yeah. But one time, you know, he just set up his Gundam, and then he just said, just play with me, like, we'll just play co-op. So we were just, you know, just mucking around, and it was really fun. And, like, so, like, I've played the game before, just a tiny little bit, and I really enjoyed it. So, like, it was like, yeah, I'll enter this team tournament, and I really want to play the tank, because it's a freaking tank, and it's hilarious. But then everyone's like, oh, I don't know how to play the tank, because it's really, like, different and strange.
Yeah, the movement.
And the whole time I was just trying to.
Pretty technical.
Yeah, and the whole time I was just trying to remember like all my macros and stuff. And for the Switch tournament, I'm pretty sure I just did horribly. For the tournament afterwards, but it was like the actual tournament, I teamed up with Matt from Queensland. And I was playing the tank, and he was playing like the dog or something.
The Ragul from Gundam Seed.
What a wacky one!
Yeah, so we were just playing like a. Yeah, so we were just doing that, and I think he was probably carrying it because he had a semblance of a game plan, while I was just like, I'm just gonna go around and shoot things.
No, he was playing like 5 dogs at once. He was calling his buddies, while you're just one tank. I think that's how it goes.
And. So like there were a couple of games where it was like, yeah, we took like one game, I think, the whole time. But like the whole time I was just trying to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do. But yeah, I definitely want to play the game again when it comes out.
Well, yeah, the PS4 release is in a couple of months, and it's getting an English release, so there's never been a better time to start watching matches and getting into Gundam vs. Gundam. It's a great game.
In fact, talking about that, there's actually a PS4 trial going on right now for anyone who's pre-ordered. Yeah, so for like most of the actual Gundam players, they're on that. So hopefully they'll pass us some good news for everyone else. See how it goes.
Hopefully the game runs locally. And it makes sense.
Well, PS4 UI
hopefully
is even worse than PS3, so we're screwed.
That's true.
In time for Avcon Alley, that is an interesting question. I think it's mid-July, so I think it's a bit tricky. But, I mean, I can go look up the dates and hit you up later. I should probably talk to you about what the hell I'm doing for Avcon, since I've been rather radio silent on that part this year. Anyway, shall we talk about Blaze Blue and the Sunday festivities?
Yes.
Blaze Blue. So
Was there anything else that happened? I'm trying to remember who hung around with me on Saturday night. I think there might have been where it was like Giggles and I.
I don't think anyone did.
Yeah, I remember.
I think it was just like did you guys just watch anime?
Yeah. Saturday night
because
was when...
Saturday night we all went down to the. Yeah, we went down to the Crown Casino food court, and we kind of ended up leaving there around 12 o'clock.
And I got
Yeah.
lost.
Oh, okay. That's
Did you wind up in the
unfortunate. I think
KFC
you
later or
left
something?
with everyone else.
I mean, Steven.
No, I left my bag back at the thing, and so like halfway while we were walking, I was like, "Oh crap, my bag!" So I ran back, and then when I tried to come back and find the exit, I just couldn't find it. It was awful.
Yeah,
So I had to like call up Javi a bunch of times to figure out where I was. Took a while.
yeah. On the Saturday night, I think I just went home, lied a bit comatose for a bit, and then Juan popped up, and I had set up the PC by that point. I said, "Okay, Juan, let's watch anime." So I looked through my folders, and there was Gunbuster. So Alex, Juan, and I watched a bunch of Gunbuster, and we finished that on Monday, I think. That was good, because Gunbuster is great.
Good
The most
stuff.
upsetting thing, I missed it.
It's
We
okay.
left the casino and we left the food court at 12, and I was just like, I didn't feel like going to Pichy. It's way too late, and getting back to our apartment, like we'd only stay for an hour or so.
Yep.
And we missed out on Gunbuster.
Yeah.
What
you
a
missed out on,
terrible
I think it
event.
was
I
a
also
Sunday
missed
night.
out on Gunbuster.
Yeah, it was Sunday night where Alex and I, at about 2 in the morning, spent an hour watching Hokuto no Ken match vids.
Oh,
Good
damn
times.
it!
Yeah, I'm really not missed out on that.
Should have taken me up on my offers. So,
Ah.
Blaze Blue. Let's get to the Blaze Blue bracket. That's the KOF. Blaze
Where do we
Blue.
start?
Overview. I mean,
I liked Sunday a lot more because I feel like my problem with Saturday was that I wanted to catch Gundam and I also wanted to catch Guilty Gear on my stream, and I just juggled them terribly. Honestly, reflecting on that, I really should have put Guilty Gear more and then finished the rest off with Gundam, but
Yeah.
I caught some matches.
notes for next time.
But then when Blaze Blue happened, I was like, nothing else was on. We're going straight Blaze Blue. So I managed to catch a lot of that on stream. I got a lot of matches.
Yeah, Sunday
But
I
I'm
rocked
currently
up
being
about...
hit by the no tech.
I rocked up about 2.5 hours late on Sunday because my back was just absolutely killing me and I could barely get out of bed. And I eventually got there. I didn't have anything rostered up. I had entered VF, but I really, really didn't care and didn't want to play by that point. And so I was fine to get DQ'd from that. And I was just kind of, at that point, I'd been running around doing a lot of stuff on the Saturday, so I just wanted to play some games. So I played some KI with some random guys.
Oh my god, I forgot to say something about the Saturday. So it was right after Guilty Gear, and yeah, I went to go get some food because Tekken 7 was starting, and I entered that, and I couldn't go out to get food, so I went to buy some food, and like in the venue, and when I got back, and then everyone's screaming at me, and they're telling me, Steven, you have to play Tekken 7, and I'm like, okay, sure. And then they're all like, "You're playing against Doggerel," and I'm like, "Oh, holy shit!" So I ran over there, like I got like my chips and stuff in one hand, and like I'm trying to juggle all the stuff. And then luckily Dread Tech was there, and he helped me carry my stuff. And whoever was running Tekken 7 was calling on the PA system for bazongas to show up for the Tekken 7 match, and I was just laughing.
We've got a big bazongas.
And then
big
yeah, so
bazongas
eventually,
to Station 3.
oh, they didn't put the big in it. I was
Yeah.
really disappointed.
Yeah, they were
We're
very
just
on
looking
point
for some
with the voting, but
bazongas.
we're obviously not
Any
the best.
bazongas will do.
Yeah, and then yeah, so I played Doggerel in Tekken 7, and that was pretty fun. He wasn't like, I definitely think, Australian level was better than him, and I think they did outplace him. Like he didn't make top 8.
Yeah,
but,
let me dig
yeah,
up the Tekken results.
that was fun. It was a good experience.
Tekken.
And afterwards, I tried to ask him for casuals and Guilty Gear afterwards. I'm not sure if he understood me. He probably didn't because he didn't show up later, but I tried.
Did you just say Ishoni Guilty Gear Asobi Masenka or something? Like just keep it simple and
No,
formal?
because I don't know.
Ah.
No, I tried to tell him that in English.
Ah. Yeah, that's probably what got
'Cause
you.
I don't. Yeah. But yeah, it was just really funny, and then everyone apparently they looked up the Smash GG brackets and found out that I lost horribly to Dogro. So that's funny.
Let's see the finals of Tekken. I mean, I would like to put over just there were a truly tremendous amount of setups. We were talking the last time about how the new challenges we were worried would be an absolute mess because they had a bajillion entrants and only a few hours on Friday, but it turns out the solution was through the Couch Warriors resources, Sydney resources, and Namco Bandai sponsorship. They had literally 40 setups for Tekken the entire weekend. There was an entire section of the convention hall that was just the Tekken area. And that was just on fire.
It was like
the
a quarter
entire weekend. Oh, Saint one.
You know the worst part is that. Oh yeah, the worst part is afterwards, like, because I saw a bunch of the Queensland Tekken guys that on the way out when we were waiting, and they were just like, "Hey, why didn't you play Tekken?" And I'm like, "It was the new challenges thing. I'm not allowed in it." And they're like, "Oh, we probably would have let you in it." I'm like, "Ah, god damn it! I could have beaten up on like." Also, I didn't get my shirt.
Oh no!
God damn it! God.
What a shame.
Oh well.
So Blaze Blue.
Oh well. Yeah.
So, do you have any stories to tell about Blaze Blue before I go and shoot on the community?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I mean, okay, so I was feeling really sick that morning. Well, actually, like the whole day. If you were around me at all, you would probably heard me gagging and coughing a lot. So yeah, I was feeling a little bit bad, but once I got into the games, I was fine. So the thing about BlazBlue is that I don't know why, but probably because it was just early Sunday morning. A whole bunch of people didn't show up. So even though we got like 40 entrants, it was more like 25.
Yeah, there were a lot of DQs.
Which is a shame. A lot of DQs.
Really? I felt
it wasn't that much.
Yeah,
there wasn't that much. Okay. Thank God. Okay, sorry.
Nah, I thought it was about.
We're exaggerating.
About 4 or 5. It's still a
Oh.
lot, but that's not. It's not like
Okay.
it's not like 40 down to 25.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, about 5 DQs. One of them was Giuno. So that means that because Giuno was the top seed.
Yeah.
So the top side of the bracket was like, it became the easy bracket because
Yeah.
like the bottom one had like me and Giggles in it in the same side of the bracket. So we had to play each other before finals.
And you did beat him.
Yeah. I did beat him, and I talked to him about it afterwards, and he was definitely like, he said that he was trying to feel around, and he was being a lot more impatient than usual, which is what got him getting hit by stuff. It was a bit of there was some sloppiness in it, but I mean, yeah. So I was able to beat him that time, and I was praying that Runus would beat him later, but he didn't.
No. You can't charge up on blockable spears against a guy who can run up DP.
That's right.
Never believe in Runus.
He did, however.
Yeah, I know that now.
Runus did beat Nurk, though. To be fair, my Vulcanheim is probably Vulcanheim's worst matchup. Like,
Wait,
Nine
what?
and Mai are both horrible.
Oh, my Vacant, right, yeah. Yeah.
Because Volk's not allowed to block at the spots where he wants to block and bulldog his way in. And he can't do that. So you just get hit. Tough fights.
Yeah. So yeah, it came down to winners finals was me versus Awakened Being. And I was definitely feeling some nerves at that point, just because, it's a major, all that stuff. And then, so I fired up the training mode and, practiced new strings. I was just like, okay, thank God I have a 1-frame projectile invincible dash. So when I versed him and he did like any string, I was just insta-block, dash forward. And there was nothing he could really do against that.
Yeah, I think, like, his biggest problem is that we have no 9 in Sydney. We have Hugo, but he does not play good 9. He does not play Blaze Blue.
Yeah, Hugo's Blaze Blue
So
players never
we
been
effectively
anything.
have no 9. And especially, I think especially for 9, you need matchup knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
9 is a character, like, even a mediocre 9 will just run all over you if you have 0 matchup knowledge.
Yeah.
You need to know what she's capable of. Like, her teleports, you need to know how to deal with them. And AB, never having played a 9 before, he went into the matchup blind and it just really showed. He was just shooting swords that were getting dashed through, and he was just getting blown up left and right. So, yeah, it's just really unfortunate. These things happen in tournament, but
Yep.
he just went in with no matchup knowledge, got blown up. That's it.
Yep.
So, yeah, I just thought it was really bad for him.
And so then Giggles ran it back in the losers bracket and beat up Steven. And this was much more decisive play.
Yeah.
Because he went, okay, I can see what wild play I can't get away with, so now I'm just going to be patient again and win 6 games. And he won 6 games. Then got beat up by Giuna and Casuals.
Yeah. I also got beat up by Giuna and Casuals. It's fun, and it was fun. I mean, blocking Izuyori is not fun. She just does whatever, and it's like, God, what is going on? But like, the experience of playing him is just like, he's better than anything I've ever played before. Like, anyone I've ever played before, and it's kind of like just like a eye-opening experience at like where I am right now and where other people are.
Yeah, I feel that Blaze Blue play, Australian Blaze Blue play, we were talking a bit earlier today about whether CS1 or CP was the pinnacle of Australian Blaze Blue play. I honestly feel, just by virtue of Falco being a better Huckerman than Song, and people keeping Falco out of the like top 4s every time he entered, that CP was probably the pinnacle of Australian Blaze Blue play. It feels a bit like the level of plays dropped off, and I'm not really sure, given the entrance numbers, how much more of a future this game has. Obviously, people are still going to play it, but we've got a Unib update coming, and I know that there's a lot of Sydney guys that want to play Unib. We've got a bunch of other wacky games coming out. We've got Tekken, which is probably going to eat into our players, and Rev 2 comes out at the end of this week, so it'll be interesting to see where Blaze Blue is at the end of the year. It's a less played game, and it's definitely showing in the level of play, because it's basically the same players, and they're playing it as a bit more of a side game.
Honestly, in regard to just the Blaze Blue playing standards, I actually feel like currently this is probably the highest the overall level of Australia has been.
Maybe it's just that...
Because I feel like people... I feel like I'm playing at the highest level I've ever played for Blaze Blue, and I'm having a lot of trouble with other players. So if a lot of players are actually being able to match me compared to where I felt more comfortable playing before, then I just feel like everyone just improved a lot. There's a lot more players who are at this like a decent, good level. I don't think the Australian Blaze Blue scene is particularly good at all.
No.
We're not.
Honestly, we're all trash. But I still feel it's a step up from before. Yeah, but ISO's not here, so we all suck.
I beat ISO, and Giggles beat ISO.
And have our current players play themselves from 3 years ago and see what happens. Though, to be fair, Blaze Blue is a very different game for me than what CP was.
It's a different game, and it's just it's definitely harder to improve at, because the online scene is it's definitely not as strong as Guilty Gear. Offline scene is also not as strong.
Yeah,
it's like
for comparison's sake,
it depends on where you are.
Just
offline scene is strong in some places. Like New South Wales, there's not too many keen Guilty Gear players here. Like the Dave and crew, they all want to play BB, so BB gets played a lot around here.
Dave's interesting,
but
because
it really depends where you are.
Yeah, I was talking to Dave and gave
him
some...
Yes, I wanted to actually disagree with Farah's point before, actually. But I agree that in comparison to everyone else, he's feeling like he's gotten a lot better. But I feel a lot of really strong anime players are not taking BB seriously anymore. Like Lurk was pretty monstrous back before. Esker was really scary. Like Fairy was scary. Like Melbourne had a lot of people who were really scary as well. So
I agree there too, because back in the, I guess you'd call it the OG days, where New South Wales actually had all our strong players. We had if people back there remember, there was Davo, the Arakune player.
Oh man,
Like I remember Melbourne hyping up Daichi, whose Arakune was really good, and then we went down to Bam and he got absolutely bodied by every single one of us.
Yep.
That was actually a great time. But yeah, David was a really good Arakune. We had Keith, who was an amazing Bang player. And yeah, those two guys have just left the scene because they've moved overseas. And yeah, we've just lost a lot of good players here and there. I don't think Esker's playing anymore.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. I agree.
Esker's generally being bodied by Work and Blizzard Vortex. Nurk's probably spoken to Esker and he can probably give us a better update in the chat. But yeah, Esker's usually caught in the Blizzard Vortex, and that's just unblockable setups over and over and over again. That Hearthstone, followed up by the Heroes of the Storm, followed by WoW patches, StarCraft 1 becoming free and getting a visual update. I mean, like, there's no hope. You cannot escape that vortex.
But yeah, I think like the number of high-level BlazBlue players in Australia is so much smaller than other games, and it's also like it's spread out. Like in Queensland, there's me and Mantator. That's it.
Yeah.
In South Australia, it's like Giggles.
See, we actually have a
New
number
South
of
Wales, you've
up-and-coming
got
BlazBlue players who weren't able to travel to Melbourne.
Yeah.
So I'd probably be feeling a bit different if they'd all shown up and beaten a bunch of people up. We have a guy who's a Taiga player, and he's definitely not ISO, but his Taiga is at that point where it can really catch people in tournaments.
Getting there.
We have a pretty good Hibiki. And, I mean, were there any Hibikis of note in this
tournament? They may be really good Azrael too.
And yeah, the Azrael player is really stepping up.
No one had a good Hibiki.
Hibiki's so easy.
And actually, yeah, I feel like there are a lot of new players stepping up for BlazBlue. We got Mullet Cap, who's actually showing up pretty good with his Lambda. So props to Mullet Cap. Unfortunately, Morpha didn't make BAM because he was ill, but I hear good things about Morpha. He's actually a really strong player. AB was talking him up, saying Morpha beats him quite consistently on net play. So it was really unfortunate he didn't make it. Dave, for having only played BlazBlue seriously for like 1 or 2 months, he showed up real big at this tournament.
I mean,
Dave's there's a lot of upcoming BlazBlue players.
Where did Dave go?
That's true. I'm not going to deny that.
Oh, yeah,
and I actually feel like we had one of the guys. One of our guys, Ezra from Wollongong. I'm not actually sure what happened to Ezra. I knocked him out in the losers, which was unfortunate. I think he just got bad matchups in the brackets and just lost.
To Giggles.
Which happens. Okay, so he went up against some really bad brackets, like losing to Giggles and then losing to me. I mean, it's fair, it happens. But I really feel like he's a really strong player in BlazBlue, and I really wouldn't want to play him in a tournament. So there's a lot of upcoming players. I'm just hoping the game lasts long enough.
Oh man, Ezra had destroyed his first.
It's really
because he DQ'd Baxter.
Yeah, talking about like longevity of BlazBlue and stuff. It's really funny because it's like I hope there's a new update for CF. This game needs a balance patch.
Yeah,
but that's the thing that people complain about BlazBlue, right? All the balance updates.
Well, let's be clear here.
Wow, this is really hard.
I'd just like to talk about BlazBlue changes for a bit. That the central thing that drives people really nuts. I mean, there's 2 things. One is obviously the financial factor, where BlazBlue usually charges full price for each update, unless it's The last couple of games, they did a 1.1 update that was free, and that was nice, but everything else was lots of money. But the bigger thing is that, in comparison to Guilty Gear, Guilty Gear, for the most part, leaves most of the combo theory the same, and if there's just a facet of combos that's too strong, then they'll nerf that. And oftentimes when combo routes change, it's because the old route works, there's just also a better one that you can do now. What BlazBlue does, and it makes perfect sense from an arcade standpoint, is that it intentionally reworks all of the combo filler properties, so you have to reconstruct the bulk of the combo, which, from an arcade perspective, means people have to spend more money in the lab working out what the combo routes are. But from a learning characters perspective, it's really, really infuriating that every single version of BlazBlue, it's reinventing the wheel for no real gameplay reason. And you're just having to completely change what your filler is and relearn a bunch of muscle memory, which isn't making you better at playing the game. It's just you're relearning basically how to ride a bike. If, like, every year when you're riding a bike to work, you suddenly have to relearn how to ride a bike, that would drive you nuts, and you'd probably just go on a bus instead. And
So
that's the part that demoralizes.
So I've actually read a short piece about BlazBlue design and why they do that, and it was along the lines of it's very difficult to get good at fighting games, right? But they've made it so, purposely made it so it's combo heavy, so people who put in more time naturally get better easily. They can see progress and improvements in their play. So it's a decision. It's a design decision.
I know it's a design decision. I don't agree with it, but I totally get.
Not many people agree with it.
The sort of progress that it gives a sense to players is very much a deception, rather than actually leading to better results that can make people really actually level up. Anyway, that is...
I feel like that changed around the BBCP, because I feel like BBCS, they actually had a good design balance-wise.
Yeah.
BBCS was all about, everyone has all these universal combos. They work on standing, crouching, it all goes into each other. BBCS2 introduced the importance of actually crouch confirming and getting the proper combo routes down for different situations. And BBCS EX was mostly just a balance patch. But then BBCP happened, a lot of things just got shifted, like completely different move properties on the way some characters played and everything. And yeah, it just leads into the situation you're talking about. But that's just BB history.
Yes, and that's why it often drives people away. I mean, this is why it's getting 40 entrants when the other game's getting 70 plus. There's many reasons why that sort of thing happens. Or the quality of online is certainly another deciding factor. It's one of them. But there's a lot of things that go into the package, and BlazBlue is a somewhat exhausting thing to follow. But if you ever jump into a single version, it's somewhat fine to learn. I mean, I guess the thing that I could talk about my BlazBlue experience for BAM is when I sat down to do some commentary, I found myself slipping into play-by-play a lot, which certainly has its place, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't like doing it that much. And I was doing it because I didn't know enough about specifics of the game, so I'm probably going to be playing a bunch of BBCF for a bit. Probably just going to play some Izanami or some Hibiki, just so I've got a bit more familiarity as a player with certain facets of the game for commentary purposes.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about BlazBlue, or do we move into the after party?
Did anything happen after that? No.
I played a bunch of
No. Blaze... Yeah, there was just a lot of casuals. We finished off the Gundam Grand Finals was actually really good. It was a great Grand Finals. I think Forte has a lot to talk about it, but for just me who was just watching it, it was just some really high level play, and I just really enjoyed watching that. And then after that, oh boy, I challenged Pichy and Giggles to a money match. By money match, I mean we're paying for drinks at the after party. I think we went into this going, I'm gonna so body Pichy and Giggles so badly, because I was playing really well on Saturday, and if anybody saw that, it was a blow up. It was terrible. I got destroyed.
Yeah, we lost the first game, then I switched to... I think I was on the F91 then, because I think I went Zuda on the first game. And so I went, okay, no, I'm dying too quick, I'm going to go back to just good old F91. So it was
No, you went to Gold Sumo.
Oh, yeah, no, that's
Gold
right, yeah.
Sumo.
I went to Gold Sumo, went ham, so basically, Giggles drew a lot of the fire, and then I would just hit them in the back with Universe, and it was great. Because Giggles...
I think the best thing about Gundam was that I felt like I was the strongest player in the match, but at the same time, I was really noticing how badly I was playing, that I could have also been, from a different perspective, the worst player in a match. Because when I was watching the replay footage, I'm just going, I'm playing way too aggressively.
Yeah,
I'm
your
clearly the
positions were
stronger
way
player.
whack.
There's no reason why I should have I was just getting myself killed or just putting myself in bad places for my partner to get killed. And that's a great thing about a team game. It just gives you all these different perspectives on how, like, just the way the game has to be played. So yeah, I actually came out of that match pretty satisfied that I had a better understanding of the game. So even if I did get blown up, yeah, I thought it was pretty good. And also that Giggles cashed in his reward on veggie eggplant chips.
Yes.
Eggplant chips.
Giggles got
Yes,
the top-tier
eggplant
eggplant
chips.
chips, and I got the South American drug juice the next day. Shoutouts to Tropicana, the legend.
Yeah. I didn't get to have that.
I thought it was overrated, guys. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
thought
no.
the South American drug juice was overrated. And then I had the mango colada.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, that's where it was at.
I mean, there is
If one
something
of them
for
doesn't
everyone.
work,
About it.
I won.
There was one time
Yeah,
when I was
I didn't like the heroin, so I took the cocaine.
Yeah, there was one time I was feeling crook, went on a trip there. So I just got like carrot, tomato, orange juice with a pile of ginger in it. And that got me where I needed to be. So, speaking of the after party, we had the Dengeki Teams event, which was exactly the sort of best that you would expect from an after party teams event. But the true MVP was absolutely Zukov. You guys talk about that for a bit. I've just got to quickly pop to the toilet.
What did Zukov do?
I didn't think the MVP of Dengeki was Zukov. I feel like it was my boy Prods. My boy Prods just shutting out how to play the game and embodying so many people by throwing his panties at him.
He did throw stuff at me, but then I anti-ed him, and I was like, I can win. Man, yeah, that was like, because at that point, it was my first time drinking, and I wasn't planning to, but then I was just like, you know what, I might as well give it a shot. So I got some drinks, and by the time the Dengeki tournament started, I was already like lightheaded, and everything was a little bit woozy. So
that's the entire idea.
yeah, exactly. But it was it's like the first time I ever experienced it, so it's really strange. And yeah, so it got to like the point in the where the Queensland team was up, and Sieg played, and Matt played, and I'm not sure if they both played Kirino like I told them to, but
Everyone played Kirino.
okay, good. And then I got there. And I was just like, yeah, I can do this. And then Prods was starting to beat me up. I'm like, this isn't good. This isn't right. So I beat him, and I beat someone else, I think. Yeah. There was one guy, and I was just like, I'm just going to do jump in, jump C. I'm just going to do that like 5 times. And then eventually I just did an empty low, and it worked. And I was just laughing, really drunk.
Yeah, that one guy was me. It was a great time. I showed you.
Was that you? I don't think it was you.
It was me, and you got destroyed.
Because you beat me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just did jump C because
No,
my character
I mean-
is so good.
No, I mean, I did that on someone else.
But
But then you did that on me, and I was like, I don't know what to do against this. How do I ante ya? And then I lost, and then I just left. And then
You got Nerk. You brought him.
Yeah, and then
'Cause-
Merc ruined it. He played Kuroko.
yeah, because we needed someone else, and no one else from Queensland wanted to play the game.
Yeah,
And I
heard
just
Juno was
ran
going to
into
be your
Nerk,
second.
and I was like, "Hey, Nerk, you gotta." Wait, what? Who said that?
Matthew at one point.
Oh, damn it. Well, I didn't know about that.
Nerk
So I was
was
just
my
like-
hardest match in that Dengeki team tournament, I swear.
Yeah.
He caught onto my shenanigans so fast. I was panicking.
But yeah, I ran into Nerk on the way, on the walk out, and I'm just like, hey Nerk, you got to help me. You got to play in Dengeki for my team. And I went to Javi and I'm like, is it okay if Nerk is on Team Queensland? And Javi's like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, sweet. But then he lost.
It's okay.
We let
So-
Queensland down.
Yeah, so he didn't.
The right team won in the end because Javi's prize included Awakened Being's main.
I had cards for different characters.
Oh,
Oh.
the secret surprises after.
Not everybody's characters. Like I didn't expect Fire to pick Guy, so I didn't have that.
Oh,
But they got the gum in the end.
That gum was. I have mixed feelings about that gum.
Okay, okay.
One of the prizes was canned cold gum, and it tasted good for about 5 seconds.
I gotta tell you,
It
Fiery.
was gone.
I gotta tell you about that. So I think it was like I don't know, weeks before, a month before or something. Javi was talking about his gum, his Kankole gum, which he imports from Japan, so we can get the collectible cards of the characters. And me and Ando, so we were playing casuals on the Thursday night before, and Javi pulls out the gum. Well, it's on his desk. And he's just like, you guys want this gum? And I'm like, no, you've already told me about how bad the gum is. Like, I'm not having that gum. Anna didn't want the gum. So Javi took it out, and it's like a square gum. And he puts his teeth on it and then kind of struggles for a little bit. And then it breaks off really hard. And me and Anna were just kind of wincing at it.
It's that sort of gum.
And then after 10 seconds of him chewing it, I'm just like, is it good, Javi? And he goes, nope. So
it
yeah,
was Ando's idea, I think it was, to give away the gum.
yeah. But then apparently you were saying that Gino was eating the gum and saying he needed more of it. He was powering up or something.
Yeah, in his match against Beatles. Because he ate the gum and he won the round. And he was like, okay, I need more of this stuff.
Speaking of that, we
what
didn't
else?
talk about the
Yeah, we'll get to that.
The
We'll get to that.
matches.
So what else happened in Dengeki?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I forgot the C.
I don't think
button
anything
existed.
else happened in Dengeki. Dengeki was a lot of blow-ups, and there was totally no collision happening at all.
After I lost, I just went outside and drank more.
I think
So
Dengeki went better than I thought, overall.
It was certainly a good after
Because
party
that was a
shenanigans
new
moment.
thing.
Yeah.
It was exactly the sort of mess
People
that you
had
need in
fun.
an after party situation, whereas just people yelling and terrible play happening, with occasional glimpses of what the game actually looks like.
And to everyone who watched me play, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
No one should have
apologize
saw
for
what
my
I did
play
to
as
these
well.
people. So yeah, that covers Dengeki. So on to the big after party, the money matches.
Yes.
Oh, where do we
Matches
start
happened
there?
as well.
So the first one was Nerk versus Gina, and apparently it was because Gina busted in the anime corner, and he was like, "I'll take down any soul you got." So then Nerk challenged him, and I don't know if it was Rev 1 or Rev 2 or not because I got there kind of late.
It was Rev 1. It was Rev 1.
Okay. And I don't know what the score was.
Oh, I'll talk about that in a second.
Okay, yeah, you talk about it.
Yeah. I
Okay,
just
so
was making my way to
that
main
money
when it
match,
happened.
that was great. I love that match. It was like the match you'd expect from two drunk players. It was just so much silly things, like Giuna just doing double counter stance. Nerk just doing the craziest things, just like run up, bandit, bring out, run up, stand, bring it, bandit, bringer. It was great. There was just so many things happening in the match. Like, I I actually don't even remember most of it, to be honest. All I remembered was that Giuna got blown the fuck up.
Yeah, that was the most.
So yeah, it was
important
actually a
part.
close match. It was down to the wire. It was 2-2. Both players on no HP, and then Nerf just stands there on the other side of the screen. Just stands there.
Any DPs?
No. And then Giuna just runs forward. Nerf just instant air dashes over a sonic boom, and then just presses jump P DP.
Yeah.
On the hardest of reads, and then Giuna just jumps into it and loses. And has to buy Nerk a drink. So that was fantastic. Shout out
Right
to
guy won.
Nerk, man, saving
Right.
Australian anime.
And then the
when it
next
comes to wild
one
play,
was
Nerd can just be completely off the hook when he feels like it.
I'm glad Nerk won,
like-
considering the crap we got when Giggles lost.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the next one was so Sieg from Queensland. Apparently he just ran into infiltration like while he was getting drinks, and he just said, "Hey, Gina wants to fight you in Guilty Gear." So then Infiltration agreed. So then he went up to Gina and was like, "Hey, Infiltration is challenging you to Guilty Gear." So he just made up the match out of the blue.
Yep.
And then suddenly we had Infiltration and Gina playing Guilty Gear against each other, and it was great.
I
Oh
love
my
watching
God.
Infiltration's Axel. I legit love watching it when it pops up.
It was really because I'd never seen it before, and I was watching. I'm like, okay, so like, what does he know? And then at first it was like, oh, okay, what's he doing? But then and then you see like, oh wait, no, he's got the combo. He knows what he's doing. And then it was just great.
I saw the Axel portrait in the top left corner. That's all I could see in the sea of bodies by the time I rocked up.
I think the saddest part about that was, I mean, it was great. I caught it all on stream, but I feel so sad that my mic was just having issues, so it cut out in the last round. So I missed the absolute pop off when Giuna ended that set with a perfect.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there was a part though, it's like during the match, it was like Infiltration would just DP like crazy. Like Giuna's up at the top of the screen, he DPs and it hits Giuna when he sticks out a button, or he dashes through him and he DPs and he gets shot backwards behind Axel.
Yeah, the backwards
then-
hitbox and Axel DP is the best thing.
And then there was this point where Giuna stunned him, and he went for the instant kill, but he didn't get it in time. And everyone in the crowd was just yelling. And
That was
fantastic.
the last round of the set, and I'm so upset that my mic cut out at that point, because getting that pop off on the stream and all those it would have been great, but
Look, the noise in that room was
issues.
so loud. I'm amazed
And
it lasted as long as it did.
Yeah, I like the mic picking up the audience noises too. I thought that added a lot.
Actually, my mic handled pretty well. It was just for some reason it decided to act up at that moment. No problems throughout the whole of the weekend, except at that after party. So I have no idea what happened there.
Well, there was a lot more noise.
And I gotta tell you guys what happened afterwards. Yeah, so because the match was for drinks, and afterwards we went to get shots with them, and then so we were all there, and then Infiltration was there, Giuna's there, and then Giuna pulls up Saint, and he tells him yeah, Saint, how do I call Infiltration a coward because he won't buy me my drink? So then Saint tells him something, and he goes up to Infiltration and he starts saying it, and Saint is just laughing. He's just laughing his head off, and then Saint tells him to say something else, and I think it's supposed to be more a bigger insult, and Gina starts yelling that as well, and it's just hilarious.
Mm-hmm. The rest of my after party experience
So
was,
I think
there were a couple of guys who throughout the weekend were bringing along a Nintendo Switch with them with KOF 98 on them. So I played a lot of KOF 98 on a Joy-Con, and if you would like my review of the Joy-Con controller, it is one of the worst things I have ever tried to play a video game with.
It was terrible enough playing Bomberman on it. I can't imagine Cough.
Well,
I
there's no
remember
gate.
asking you, I was like, hey, Pichy, I was like, hey, Pichy, do the unblockable, and you were just like, I can't dash!
Yeah, I couldn't dash, so I couldn't set up unblockable Psycho Balls, because that's all I really wanted to do. Whenever I see people going, yeah, KOF's the best, it's nah. Wait until you see unblockable Psycho Ball and the Psycho Sword. Then you won't like KOF 98. And then I'll pull out the Daimon, and the 2-frame crouch C from Ralph, and the Chris Hop CD, and you'll never want to play this game again.
But, yeah, and then after that, I mean, it was just casuals happening around as well. But after that, and then Giggles challenged Gina to match in Blaze Blue for drinks.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what Giggles's intoxication level was at that point, but I'm going to say it wasn't that much.
No, he was pretty lucid when he got home. When he got back about 2 a.m. and I had to open the door for him. He was pretty lucid, and he was pretty lucid the whole time we were, like, watching Hokuto no Ken vids. It was just us laughing at Hokuto no Ken.
I think he probably drank more afterwards.
No, he didn't actually drink that much.
Yeah.
Sorry, Giggles, I'm not letting you use the I was mad drunk OS. You did not drink that much that night.
Because, like, when I looked at him, he's clearly not drunk. Like, he's probably had some, but he's not at that point yet.
I think his sum was probably more than what most people's drinks levels were.
Yeah.
But he was not that drunk.
No.
But Gino was like, he had passed the line long, long ago, and he kept going. But he also has a really weird skill where he can play really well while incredibly drunk.
Well, that comes with practice and experience.
I don't know. Like, you'd be surprised how well people can play when they're mad drunk. I probably play better when I'm drunk.
Maybe.
But that aside, it ended up in a 2-1 in Giuna's favor, playing Ragnar, his side character who doesn't play, and then he popped off. He popped off so hard on Giggles.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Well, do you know the follow-up from his stream this week? Where he declared,
yes,
that Giggles guy was wearing some sort of sponsorship shirt. I guess Australia has fake sponsors too. Savage, but... Sad. So my favorite part of the Hokuto no Ken vids was, have you ever just had a viewing session of Hokuto no Ken vids with anyone? Because to begin with, you go, this game is awesome and hilarious. Look at this Toki, look at this Ray. And then after about 20 minutes, and you're getting to the 500th Toki versus Ray match in the match vid, you go, God, can we please have a different matchup? I don't want to see the Ray Air Fireball Super yet again. I don't want to hear, whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then you get a Toki mirror match, and you get to see 2 people doing Toki teleport, and you go, this is the best character ever invented.
Yeah, I ran one of those sessions at my place, and then we quickly turned it off.
And then you try to actually play the game, and you realize that it really is one of the hardest games ever.
Oh, yeah.
Hokuto Ken is just better to play in my mind than it is to... better to watch in my mind than it is to actually watch.
I think it is, yeah.
Some of the execution when you get the hang of it is
yeah.
really quite fun. Like, it has a lot of similarities to esoteric stuff from, say, Guilty Gear X, where the way that you got to input FD cancels is very similar to the way that you input, like, Kara cancels into Grave Launchers. Also, we need to talk about the Guilty Gear exposition. Expose.
Yes.
Compilation.
Yes.
So,
let's talk about how that happened.
Alright, so the plan was that...
It was a big mess.
Yeah. Basically, CM, Steven, and I were all going to play each other in some wacky thing where we played through every Guilty Gear game. The problem is, Well, the first problem is that my PC had been jostled around a fair amount, as I discovered shortly after. That when I looked at the internals, that lots of hardware was taking some bumps, so things weren't going very well with emulation. We also weren't able to pick up the inputs of the PS3 running Guilty Gear 1, so we instead played Guilty Gear 1 mode in Accent Core as a substitute for actually playing Guilty Gear 1. Then the emulator was just crapping out on us.
And I still got the
games. And it wound up as exactly as much of a crap show as I was honestly expecting it would be. If we want to do a proper Guilty Gear Expo, then we really do need to just have a PS2 with some input devices and do it properly. Do it justice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, let's just play a bunch more PC Reload.
I mean, the thing is, it was like the Guilty Gear 1 mode was really funny because my whole goal that whole time was just to do the Infinite I found with Kai 6H because it has so much stagger.
Yeah, it was great.
You can just keep doing it. But then it gets to the point where you're doing 1 damage per hit. Yeah, and so I was just like, you know what, I'll just end it. It's really funny. But then it was like the Guilty Gear X, that game ran. It did not run well. I didn't get a single unblockable with Johnny, and that made me really sad.
Yep. And I did not.
Well, no, I got an unblockable, but I didn't do the loop. Yeah. And then
keep going.
But like when it got to reload. And I was like, oh wait, I'm having fun again now.
Yeah,
because this game doesn't run like total crap.
And then it was back to Slash.
No one's doing RoboKai stuff.
It was a mess.
Back to Slash where it's like, oh, what's he doing? And like a frame later you get hit by Greed 7. Like, oh, that's what he was doing.
Oh, he did Stunnage. And then he did Stunnage. Wow. I mean, I did at least do the firewall trap.
And then he did 2S Stunnage.
Oh, it's unblockable. Inescapable. What a character. I think... Yeah.
But then Accent Core and Plus I were fun.
Accent Core and Reload shenanigans are absolutely things that we could do some more of. Because those are both very fun and entertaining games for matches. I kind of feel like if we're going to do a dumb thing like that again, we should totally just get some 4-player Melty Blood going. Because that's way better than 4-player Iska.
Wait, 4-player?
Yeah, so the PC port of Cadenza has 4-player mode in it. And it makes up special names based on the characters that you've picked for each team. And you can do things like have 4 Neros.
Oh god.
Also,
no, this is not going where I think it's going.
Unlike Iska, where there's manual turning,
chaos.
The turning for characters in 4-player Melty Blood is automatic. So things hit in weird ways that make no sense, and you'll be halfway through doing an air combo on someone, but someone's running underneath you and the game decides to switch which direction you're facing. Things like that happen all the time. That is a very entertaining 4-player fighting game. You know what else I need to do? I need to buy... Do you know about that Arc System Works Norarihon no Mago game that they made for Konami a few years ago for the PS3?
Yes, I know about this very well.
Yeah, I need a copy of that game.
Wait, what's this game?
Great.
Yeah. Is it? I had never actually looked into it.
It's wacky. It's very wacky.
Let's go with that.
What is this game?
Like, at this point, I'm open to anything. Like, after seeing Aquaplaza God, I fucking love Aquaplaza. I'm just going to come into this one going, alright, Pichy, let's see what you got.
The best way to explain the Norarihon no Mago game is it's a sequel to Guilty Gear Dust Strikers. With assists. 10 assists per player. If you've set the dip switches right.
10.
Oh, no! That sounds both amazing and horrible at the same time.
So, are you playing like a Bamani board?
No. It's just a bunch of button macros. Like the game is designed for basic gamepads rather than sticks. But I think you can still use sticks with it. Anyway, I need a copy of that game. And I think it's physical only.
Wow.
We also need to play more Micro Machines.
We didn't get to play Micro Machines!
Yeah, we didn't play any Micro
Oh
Machines.
shit, that was
What a bad
the
event.
biggest blow up. That was the biggest blow up.
You didn't watch Gunbuster, you
I've
didn't get to
never
play
played
Micro
Micro
Machines.
Machines.
We gotta make up for this at OHN.
And we didn't get to see the most dangerous soldier.
Oh, I did
Well, I
show...
didn't get to see the most dangerous soldier.
Forte got to see it. I showed Forte MD Geist. And a bunch of Mad Bull 34. So, those are mostly to laugh at
Man.
Juan's reactions to them, but Forte's response... Forte had the correct review of MD Geist, which is, this soundtrack is awesome. So, I think that about covers everything that I wanted to cover, and we've hit the 2-hour mark for this show. So, I am thinking of doing these fortnightly, just doing an anime podcast like this. So, if any of you guys are interested in doing this more regularly with me, hit me up.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Ping me anytime. I'm always ready.
I'm
Thinking always come
We
on.
can get other people.
I got a lot to say.
I'll make up some lists of like games we
Maple
can talk
Stories
about,
anime.
or events we can talk about, and like if worse comes to worse, I might actually just show you some things from my anime vault, and then we just review anime on weeks where there's no game news to talk about.
That'd be great.
Wait until that flying ghost ship
What?
review.
These guys don't even watch anime.
He's correct.
The point is we
Davi's
watch
correct.
it together and then we discuss it.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, there we go.
Either way, closing thoughts on BAM 9.
I love BAM 9. It was great.
It
It
good.
was
So I will
really
see you next
good.
year.
I want to come next year. The only bad thing I could think of was the chairs. Like that's really like the only. It was like that and Rev 2, but Rev 2 was more Rev 2's fault than BAM's fault.
I would have liked to have known about
So
the
I
Game
think-
Plus stream a bit earlier, so we could get some more signal boosting for it. And that's about it for me.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think the thing that I took out most from BAM 9 is that I gotta make OHN a big event, a good event. Because I gotta like live up to what BAM was. So yeah, and I'm gonna do that. So anyone come to OHN, I promise you guys it's gonna be great.
Yep.
So yeah.
The layout of the games might be
Yeah,
quite
the
different by
new game
now,
plus
so-
thing is Oh yeah, I was about to say the new game plus thing. Even I didn't know. They work at the stream schedule really late, so we would have liked that sorted out much earlier. Could have let you know. I'm looking forward to
It's
it,
a
like I
minor
said.
issue.
But yeah, OHN has a lot of new games. Like Unio, New Gundam.
Yeah, there's a lot of things planned for OHN, but the most important thing is that outside of the main games currently, nothing is final.
Yep.
There's still a lot of it's so far away. There's still like 2
Well,
months.
it's 4 months.
Wait, September's
More like
the
3,
8th.
but
For
Oh,
yeah,
9th, yeah, pretty much about 4 months.
And in that time,
So
we've not
there's
only got
still
the
a
game
lot of
releases,
things going on.
Like, we've got the post-EVO situation of seas, so EVO will give us a good picture of what the international scene is looking at. And since there's no other majors in that time for Australia, it'll be very interesting to see what all our local scenes are doing, which games they've really decided to pick up, and which ones we really feel like trying to get attention to. I mean, I'm still expecting that week 1 Senka no Ronde 2 tournament, Fiery.
Well, you're expecting it when it will be there. It will be there.
That's why I'm expecting it. It'll be great.
See my. Oh yeah, that's true.
that's exactly the point.
Okay, sorry, I'm bad at words, but yeah, I think the issue with OHN is that there's just so many games just popping out around Evo, just around that Evo time. So I really don't know what's going to happen with the schedule right now.
It might be
But I'll try
worth-
my best. Outside of the main game with GG,
Yeah, it might
like outside
actually
of
be worth-
GG, I think that's the only lock-in right now.
It might
Wait, is
actually be
BB not
worth
locked in?
throwing every game
BB
at the
will
wall.
be a DIY game. Yeah, I am gonna throw every game at the wall. I'm gonna see what sticks.
Yeah,
but
that's right. Like, it's a good time to do that and
Yeah,
just see
not-
what people are interested in for the next few months afterwards.
things aren't going to stick. There are some things that will drop off. So yeah, we'll just have to see how things go.
Mhm.
4 months is a long time.
And otherwise, that is it for tonight. Thank you for listening. Thank you to Prods for pointing out that my mic was turned off at the start. And that was Battle Arena Melbourne 9, 2017. We'll see you at Oslo Nationals in September 15th. Thank you for listening.